Quick video for y'all family. It don't always pay to try to fix your own truck. Especially if you're one of the drivers out here that is not mechanically inclined. So like, the reason I'm making this video is because I personally feel that there's a lot of owner operators, and I don't just mean trucking owner operators, any business owner that operates their business as well, that works in their business as well. That's what I mean by owner operator. Like, we're always trying to save a dollar. We're always trying to save money. And because of that, a lot of the times when it comes to repairs, when it comes to fixing stuff, when it comes to doing stuff, we'll elect to do it ourselves. But like, owners a lot of the times don't factor in their own time to the equation of the cost of fixing your own stuff. Most owners will tell you that it's beneficial to fix your own stuff because you're going to save money. But what they fail to throw out there is at what cost, right? So I got a little small issue right now, but it's being that it came up, is what made me want to do this video, talking about the cost of your time as an owner operator. All right, so I got a universal joint on my truck that I need to replace. I got a bad universal joint. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this universal joint right here is bad and I need to replace it, right? So I've been looking at YouTube videos, and it's inconvenient right now for me to take my truck to the shop because I don't live close to the shop that I deal with, because I just moved recently. So it's just not convenient for me to take my truck to the shop, and I work at night. So if I'm gonna take my truck to the shop, I'd have to go during the daytime, which means I'm gonna be missing out on rest that I need to be able to drive at night. But irregardless, I got this universal joint that I need replacing. I looked up some stuff on YouTube to try to figure out how difficult or how simple it would be to replace a universal joint. Apparently, according to the YouTube videos that I saw, it's a very simple thing to replace. It's one of those things that most owner operators would say, well, you need to go ahead and do that yourself. As a matter of fact, I was speaking to an owner operator about this issue, asking him about the availability of his mechanic, and he's like, yeah, you can try the mechanic, but universal joint, you want to do that yourself because it's a simple project, right? So he explained to me how to do it, and that coincided with the YouTube videos that I've been watching. So I'm like, okay, well, it looks like it's pretty simple. I believe I can do it. It's only 8 bolts to take out. Any of you guys that are watching this video right now that have replaced a universal joint are probably feeling the same way right now. Yeah, man, you're a truck driver. You should be able to replace a universal joint if you need to, because it's a simple thing to do. But again, the thing that owner operators don't factor in is the cost that's involved with being out here doing this. All right, so like, it's 4:20 right now. It's 4:20 in the evening. I've been dealing with this right here since 12 o'clock, and I'll admit I'm not one that's mechanically inclined, but again, this is only 8 bolts. This should be something that you would assume is a fairly simple job. Plus, if another truck owner tells you that's a simple job, you say, yeah, that's something simple I can tackle, right? But I'm going to get into the job and I can't finish the job. Matter of fact, I couldn't even get it started. I've been dealing with it since 11. I had to run and get the universal joint. I had to run cross town and get it. I had to find the 12-point socket that goes on one of the bolts to take off the universal joint. It took me a while to be able to find that because that wasn't located everywhere. So now I'm here at the truck and I got my ratchet, or I'm trying to put my ratchet on the bolts to try to take off the bolts. And because of which drive shaft this universal joint is attached to, the drive shaft is like this. It's not, one of the straight drive shafts. It's like this. It's causing the universal joint to want to tip on either end, which basically means I can get my ratchet on one end, but I can't get it on the other end because the universal joint, just because it's at the one that's bent. And I've been out here trying to back my truck up and pull it up and kind of trying to put the bolts that I'm trying to get to on either side, thinking that that'll help me get to both bolts. And as you can see right now, these are the 9-point bolts right here. It's one here, one down there, same thing on that side. I got it lined up perfectly on the side, thinking that now I'd be able to get to the bolts that are back here, but I can't, because again, this drive shaft leans down some. So I can get it on the top bolt, but I can't get it on the bottom bolt. If I move the shaft so that it's flipped up like that, then I'll be able to get to both top bolts, but I won't be able to get to either bottom bolt. I hope you guys understood that. So the issue, that's one issue that I'm having. I can't get to all 4 of the bolts. And the other issue that I'm having is I can't even get the damn bolts to budge, okay? I put my impact wrench on there, and I put my, I don't have a breaker bar, but I did put my ratchet on there and my impact wrench, and I can't get the bolts to budge. And being that I can't get them to budge, I don't really want to get into this any further, because once I get it loose, once I get a bolt loose, then I gotta be able to finish the job. Ain't no such thing as getting it off and can't get it back on, or getting it loose and can't get it back tight as I need to because I can't get to the bolt the right way. The point that I'm making with all of this is there's a time cost involved in being able to fix your own truck, right? Like, I could have gotten started at 11 o'clock today and took this to the shop and been back home and done right now and prepared to run tonight. Instead, I can't fix it myself, and now being that it's 4 o'clock in the evening, it's too late to get it to the mechanic. He told me to bring it tomorrow morning, but I don't want to run my truck like that, so I'm gonna lose a night of work. I've been working with this now for 4 or 5 hours, so I'm end up having to pay the mechanic anyway. That is, in my opinion, the true cost of trying to fix your stuff. Because again, like, unless you're extremely mechanically inclined and you know what you're doing, you can't get into something and can't fix it and can't figure it out and can't get it back together. So you could easily get in this thing and get it loose and get it apart, and then still spend 3, 4, 5 hours trying to get it back together because something won't line up, because you don't have the right tools, because you're not at the right type of facility. Like, I'm not a mechanic, okay? So, like, if you're extremely mechanically inclined and you really know what you're doing, yeah, maybe it's worth it to try to fix your own stuff. But if you are, like, I would say at least half of the drivers that are out here as owner-operators, like, we ain't that mechanically inclined. You don't have to be in order to operate a truck and get it up and down the road. For somebody like us, it ain't always worth it to try to get into something like this. I would much rather pay a mechanic a couple $100s to do this for me while I'm at home with my family, or at home getting rest, or at home getting dinner, or whatever I choose to do, instead of being out here 4 or 5 hours in the hot sun, messing with this, troubleshooting, trying to figure it out, still can't figure it out, simply because I just don't have the right tools. It's not a difficult fix, but I just don't have the right tools. I'm not at the right kind of facility. I don't have access to the right stuff, which makes it more difficult. And you got to remember, if I take this truck to the shop and get it worked on and get it fixed, that is a write-off. The amount of money that it costs me is a write-off at the end of the year. But if I spend 4 or 5 hours fixing this truck, I can't write off that time. There's no way. I just lose that time. So there is a cost involved in spending time trying to fix your own issues, especially if you're one that maybe you're not that good at doing it. If it's something you can do, there are certain things that I can do on this truck, but like stuff like this, man, like, come out, try to mess with it, and if I can't get it right, put the tools away, take the truck to the shop, man. Like, go back home and relax and enjoy the rest of your evening, because, like, again, I can't get this time back. So I just wanted to share that with anybody that's, out here on the road as an owner-operator, looking to become an owner-operator, wondering how to save money by fixing your own stuff. Sometimes you're saving money by fixing your own stuff, but there's a cost to everything. And you got to be asking, what is the cost of fixing your own stuff? Sometimes it's money, it's always time, it's always effort, it's always a loss of sleep. And if you can't get it fixed, you might still have to go back to the mechanic shop anyway. Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. For more helpful CDL tips, go here, or consider subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but instead you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that.